Swain event fueled by Daddy and Barbecue, and it's time to connect with our guy Austin Price of VolQuest.com. He joined us on Tuesdays here. His time is brought to you by Jennifer Williams with Keller Williams Realty. 865-257-7897 is her telephone number if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate. Austin Price is at VolQuest.com. You can follow him on Twitter at Austin Price List. AP, good morning.
What's up, Jason Swain?
What's up, man? Tennessee adding pieces to the defensive puzzle. Adding a defensive lineman and Caleb Trembley from USC, and then going to the next, the next level at the linebacker position, and then adding Juwan Mitchell from Texas. Austin, man, who was the connection from maybe the coaching staff, and how was Tennessee able to land this transfer?
I don't think there really was a connection with the coaching staff. I think it was just, Juwan was making the move. Tennessee provides opportunity, and he sees that if you come in this league, you have a greater chance of going, in the NFL draft. And I think the opportunity to play a lot in this league was something that he didn't want to pass up. And Juwan, and in my brief dealings with him, seemed like a really good kid, with his head on straight and ready to kind of close this thing out. Ben put it on his Twitter yesterday with a quote that he gave us, just about, choosing, the people in the building over a building. And I think that's a mature way to look at it, because it is more of a business decision now, Jason, and he's got to focus on, taking care of everything and dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's. And it's not about, how many likes you get on Twitter and how many likes you get on, how many hearts you get on Instagram and all that stuff. It's about, putting everything on tape and seeing where the chips fall.
Austin Price, VolQuest.com. He seemed like a guy that was getting it done in Texas, who was relied upon. Didn't seem like he was, fighting for playing time. Why did he transfer from Texas?
I think a couple of different reasons. Just wanted a change of scenery. Wasn't crazy about the new staff, and just kind of wanted kind of a fresh start. So, sometimes you just kind of need that. I'm sure there'll be players at Tennessee, or were players at Tennessee, that needed that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to see that more and more, because the transfer portal allows for it, and the one-time transfer allows for it. To go someplace, and you can kind of look at like recruiting now, like how much that's changed. Like in theory, like some kids that didn't have options coming out of high school could play their way right into being on a really good team really quick, because if they go and ball out at a smaller school, what's going to happen? They ain't gonna play in that small school forever.
Yep.
So they're gonna bounce to another big Power 5, or when you're coming out of high school, you can go, if there's a lot of questions, well, I'm going to Alabama, but I've got to compete now against 4 guys. I'm going to go to Alabama, see where it happens. Worst case scenario, I'll leave after a year and I'll transfer back to school X, which is closer to home. And, it's going to be interesting to see the decisions that are made. We're seeing that now with guys just going into portal, because they can.
Austin, Tennessee has now added 3 players in Joe Milton and Caleb Trembley and Juwan Mitchell, as Swain mentioned. Potential starting quarterback, the potential leader of the defense, maybe already the best player.
Why are you hating on Harrison Bailey, Ben? I mean, that right there has negative connotation against Harrison Bailey.
Swain told me to say it. Do you think that those 3 additions equals another win or 2? Do you think that has the possibility of taking place, that Joe Milton, Caleb Trembley, Juwan Mitchell equals another win or 2 for Tennessee?
Well, here's what I think about Tennessee's season outlook. One, you're playing 3 games that, and I get everybody's going, well, Georgia State, but I mean, like, let's face it, 3 of them should be locked in wins. Then you got Pitt, South Carolina, and Vandy. That if Tennessee, I think, plays their best football, will win that football game. After that, you've got other games like Missouri, Kentucky, Ole Miss that, are more difficult, but they're winnable games. And then, of course, you got the big three. But I've said all offseason, like, what does better staff chemistry, better team chemistry, and better quarterback play get you? So, like, yeah, you're talking about adding three guys that can help you on the field, but just how much does that help? Better quarterback play helps any program, and then better team chemistry and better staff chemistry. I think that's worth something. I don't know, is that one win overall? What is that? I don't know. Is it a touchdown? Point is like, I think that more than anything, Tennessee's got to find a way to get better in those areas, and adding these players, as long as they are willing to work within the framework of the program, can help you achieve all of that. So, yeah, I mean, you needed help along the defensive line. You bring in a guy like Caleb Trembley, who, again, contract you. It's the old Jeff Blauser effect for all those early 1990s baseball fans.
Braves.
Yeah, baby. He balled out, then signed a huge deal with the Cubs, and then was terrible after that. So like, this is a contract year for him. He's coming here for 5-6 months. He's going to be really motivated. And I think you're going to have a really motivated Cade Mays, who will bounce to the draft after this year. I mean, there's going to be motivation amongst several of these players. How much does that help this team? So not that there wasn't motivation last year. I don't mean to say that, but I mean, I just think like some of these guys you're bringing in are here to do, they're, I won't say hired guns because that's not right either, but you know what I'm saying? Like, they're here for a specific purpose in a short time window. So, like, they're going to be motivated. Juwan Mitchell is going to be motivated. Joe Milton's heard all the stuff people have said about him. Slow, big arm, not accurate. He's going to be motivated. But guess who else that's going to motivate? That's going to motivate your boy Harrison Bailey, who's still wanting to prove everybody that he is who everybody thought he might be coming out of high school. So, to me, competition breeds, better play overall. So I think bringing these guys in, especially at positions of need, does just that.
Austin, if you knew me prior to my time working with you, back when I was just a peasant in your eyes, you would know that Kasim Hill is my boy.
Oh my gosh, that is true.
Team Kasim Hill, baby.
He's still in the portal.
What do you think?
He's at Rhode Island. Put some respect on Kasim Hill's name, Swain.
Oh, he picked the school finally?
Yes, he's at Rhode Island.
Good for him.
What'd you say,
what
Austin?
do you think, Swain? I couldn't get an ounce of work out of being all weekend.
I guess he crying about the Steelers and the Yankees.
Crying. We're back to 500. We got the draft Najee Harris. You saw my excitement.
He was too busy tweeting Najee Harris gifts, infuriating the general's quarters.
all I know is if you go look at the Caleb Trembley article on VolQuest, the Juwan Mitchell article on VolQuest, it says Austin Price and Ben McKee.
That's right.
Well, I think
tag team.
I think you just put your name on Austin Price's homework.
I did,
but I think you was really hiding it at Bunker after Mike Farrell tweeted that about Trey Smith.
Who's Mike Farrell?
Anyways, AP, golly, you got me all messed up. Oh yeah, I'm totally cool with a player using Tennessee. Hey, it's a bonus if you love Tennessee. It's a bonus if you love our traditions and you take pride in being a VFL. Like that's great. But I have no problem with being used. If Caleb Trembley and Juwan Mitchell just wants to use us to help their professional career and they feel like Tennessee is the best place for them to do that in this 1 year, I am totally cool with that, Austin. I don't need to get my feelings about, I want you to pick Tennessee because you love Tennessee. No, you don't have to. We got a place for you. You can achieve your goals. And it's a win-win for both.
There have been guys that have transferred here over the years. Malik Jackson. I'm sure when Malik Jackson chose Tennessee, he had no idea that he was going to enjoy Tennessee as much as he did.
Mm-hmm.
These kids are all going to enjoy Knoxville. Most people that come here do. I don't know how many coaches I've talked to over the years, and there's been lots because there's been so much staff turnover, that the wives didn't want to leave. They were upset when they had to leave because Knoxville's a good place to raise a family. On the whole, like it's not like it's a college town, but it's also a city. It's not like a small like Auburn or Athens or any of those places. Not to say those places don't have their charm and value too, but like I don't know how many people, how many recruits I've talked to over the years too that when you thought, what'd you think? Wow, nothing like I thought it was going to be. What'd you think it was going to be? A cow pasture.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Like they roll into town and see the Sun Sphere and a couple of buildings, and they're blown away thinking it's a metropolis.
Kind of like Andrew Warsaw, director of ops, hitting that Forrest Gump turbo gear to get out of Starkville to hit Knoxville.
I think Bill Martin did too.
Hit that Sonic Hedgehog turbo button.
Austin, Swain and I talked about Jay Hardy in hour 1 and hour 2. Just what's your perspective on the Jay Hardy situation after he enters the transfer portal yesterday?
That's Austin's boy.
Yeah, your boy, Jay Hardy. We'll talk about my boy. That's your boy.
Just hoping that, the kid finds a good landing spot. That's what you want for any of these kids, man. All these kids in the transfer portal, I just don't know if they're all going to find homes. It's just the number of kids in the transfer portal is just silly. And it's kind of, college athletics is made that way now. So you just kind of hope they all find good homes. You hope Jay Hardy finds homes. Obviously, a good home. Obviously, he wasn't thrilled before he was at Auburn. And, I know a lot of people are, want him to come back to Tennessee, much like Cade came back to Tennessee. I'm not sure that's going to be the case. But, at the same time, I think for the kid, you hope that, he finds a spot where, he can be successful and be happy.
You got to catch Austin when he says things, little hints. I'm not sure that's going to be the case. Austin Price, VolQuest.com here. It feels like Tennessee got a little bit of momentum. Just in the transfer portal. What other positions do you think Tennessee will look at addressing?
Wouldn't surprise me if they added another receiver. A name I said last night in our chat was Javonte Payton, who's from Nashville, and has been at Mississippi State, but is leaving the Bulldogs. I think he has 1 year to play, but the kid's a burner, and can stretch the field. So, it wouldn't surprise me if Tennessee, went the receiver route, and then it wouldn't surprise me if they added some help in the secondary if the right person was available. Like Major Burns is available in the transfer portal from Georgia, but he's going home to LSU. Tennessee's got multiple spots left. I was trying to understand and learn last night how all that works. Because, think about it. You signed Cody Brown, then he asked for his release. You signed Dylan Brooks, he asked for his release. You signed Jamarion Gooch, he asked for his release. Isaac Washington came, has now entered the transfer portal. Like, in some situations, you get the number back, and some you don't. So it's not as cut and dry as I thought it was. So Tennessee's got multiple spots here to potentially toy with and play with. And so can they find the right guys? I don't think they just want to take a body, because ultimately you can back count. You can take some of these guys from the 22 class and actually count them against 21 and allow you to bring in more people in 22. So I think a lot of it depends on, what Tennessee can get. If they can get somebody that can help them this year, I think they will do that. So I'll be interested to see what other positions they look to fill. But first one, I think what could see them, adding some receiver help.
Austin, I wanted to get your perspective on the Danny White, Tony Vitello situation. Not whether you think Tony's going to stay or leave or whatever, but just from the standpoint of a lot of people are putting pressure on Danny White, and I get it, but if Tony Vitello leaves, it's my opinion that it's not necessarily going to be Danny White's fault, like people are kind of already saying that it will be and saying that Danny better get this done and things along those lines, I look at it as a situation that Danny White is going to do everything in his power to keep Tony Vitello, and if Tony Vitello still decides to leave, it's a reflection of the previous administration's failure to keep up with SEC baseball, and it's their failure, and it's their fault that Tennessee baseball has been neglected for so long, and is at the point of where you have a coach like Tony Vitello and he ultimately decides to leave. That's on the previous administrations and not Danny White's. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. At the same time, it's going to be. How do I put this? Sometimes like people get, it's like the quarterback. Okay, quarterback gets too much blame, too much praise. Same thing with here with Danny White. If Tony Vitello is back at Tennessee next year, who's going to get the praise for that? It's going to be Danny White. And so it just kind of comes with the territory. It's not fair, and what you said is 100% accurate. But at the same time, if Tony Vitello leaves, there's going to be a negative connotation, put on Danny White. Is that fair? No, because you're right. All of the neglect the last several years causes that. To quote the great Devontae Adams from his Twitter yesterday, you got to appreciate what you got while you got it. So Tennessee fans, you better appreciate Tony Vitello, and I know they do right now. Okay, I get it. They're number 4 in the country, but you need to learn to appreciate little things. I mean, all the people that want to hate on Rick Barnes, because he ain't made that deep tournament run. I mean, I remember a time where Tennessee struggled to make the tournament and went several years without making the tournament. Like, appreciate the little stuff. It can always be better. Sure, you can always improve, but don't just hit the ceiling just to hit the ceiling. So yeah, I mean, I think for Danny White, that's going to be a good litmus test for him. How much can he, get done to prove to Tony Vitello, hey, we're serious about keeping you. And to me, and Ben will agree, I think it's more than just saying, hey, we're going to give you a big bump in pay. It's taking care of your staff. It's taking care of the fans at Lindsey Nelson with a better game day atmosphere. It's taking care of a better, Lindsey Nelson as far as just like amenities for the players and all those type things. I mean, like having a players lounge and a newer locker room and all this stuff. All that stuff matters. And to be able to bring in recruits and have a show pony to sell goes a long way. Instead of like, don't turn the lights on. Let's just, turn that one center field light on and they won't notice all the cracks in the foundation at Lindsey Nelson. To me, that's as important as anything, is doing all the other stuff besides financially taking care of Tony Vitello, doing all the other things.
Austin Price, VolQuest.com. Give us an update on Tavis Jackson, man. You get quarterbacks who commit, and now they're trying to recruit other players and build good players around them. I'm pretty sure that's taking place. What other players do you feel like has been affected by the Tavis Jackson commitment, and Tennessee could use that commitment to get some momentum going into to get some other players? Who are some other guys that we should look at?
Well, I know the receivers that are especially in this state have taken notice, and it's just giving Tennessee a little bit of jolt in the arm, Jason. They were kind of so stagnant for so long in recruiting, and Elijah Herring, Vincent Sneed. Then all of a sudden you get the quarterback, which is kind of a centerpiece that you can build around, and so I think that goes a long way. How much impact can a guy like Tavis Jackson have with his teammate Caden Curry? Can he get Tennessee in the mix? Caden Curry ain't coming to Tennessee because Tavis Jackson, but can Tennessee become more of a factor because of Tavis Jackson? I think that's possible. And so we'll be interested to see what kind of impact he has. But he's been making calls and working kids and talking to recruits and kind of starting to build relationships. I mean, you have to understand all these in-state wide receivers or out-of-state wide receivers or just, recruits in general, may or may not have heard of Tavis Jackson. so there's not going to be a real relationship there. So you have to start building it. You have to start talking to them, and direct messaging them on Twitter and Snapchat and all that stuff that the cool kids do. Jason, you and I are not cool. We're old, but you have to be able to do those things, and I think Heath began that process. It's not a quick like, hey, I'm David Jackson. Oh, I commit, type thing. It's a let's get to know each other and see if I jive with this guy that's committed to a school that I'm interested in.
AwesomePriceVolQuest.com. I know I'm cool, man. I asked my daughter this morning via text, is she swag surfing on them? And she said, yeah, without laughing at me.
You just proved that you're not cool because kids nowadays do not like swag surf.
Why would they not like swag surfing?
People
that's
think
fun.
Swag surfing at games is lame.
I mean, it's fun. Why would you not like swag surfing?
You're proving.
You know what I have to say to that, Ben?
What?
Bet.
Do you know what capping and no cap means, Austin?
No. I do not.
You talk to these youngsters more than anybody. No one ever told you.
You're right, I do. I do, but I'm more of a, get in, get out,
Okay.
Let me educate you real quick.
Talk to them about the process. What I think can help them, what I think that can hurt them as far as messaging and all that stuff.
Well, let me explain real quick to you what capping and no cap means, because at some point a recruit is going to hit you with it, and I want you to be prepared, Austin, because I care about you and I want you to be successful. If somebody says that somebody is capping, that means they're lying. Capping means you're lying. If they say no cap, that's no cap. That means they're not lying.
Maybe I'll throw that out there with a recruit and see what happens.
I think you should. I think it'll go a long way. Next time you and Hubs go on your state tour, you should throw that out there. Speaking of your state tour, how did that go?
Man, it was good. We saw. Let me break it down for you for the what we got here. We got 20 minutes left in the show. We left my house in West Knoxville at 8 o'clock last Tuesday morning. Went from here to Henry County in Paris, Tennessee. Went from there to McKenzie to Milan to Haywood to Covington down to Whitehaven, where Cam Miller was having a track meet. From there, we went up to MUS and got Dallin Hayden, where he was in a track meet. Back to Jackson to spend the night. Got up, was at Hardin County High School in Savannah, Tennessee at 8 a.m. Drove from there up to Murfreesboro to get the Herring brothers at Riverdale just shortly before 11. Up to MBA to get the quarterback there, Marcel Reed. From there up to Greenbrier, Tennessee. Didn't even know there was a Greenbrier, Tennessee, to get Nathan Robinson, a good-looking 2023 that Tennessee's in on. From there, back down to Lipscomb to see Trent Delfer and all the kids he's got, and then from there to Beach back to the house, all in 36 hours. So it was fun.
This is why the subscribers are there at VolQuest, AP, man. Y'all relentless pursuit of information, recruiting information. This is why they sign up at VolQuest, man. You're dedicated to giving them info. Good job, man.
We had a good time. We were in Hubs' little white rocket, his little white car, and we put a lot of miles on it. And I'm just, as I said in our podcast today at VolQuest, I'm glad Rob Lewis wasn't on that trip because, Sheriff Buford T. Justice would have caught the bandit several times going down some of those state highways in West Tennessee, because Rob likes to speed, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I want to hear Brent Hubbs ask the recruits about capping and no capping. That's what I want to hear.
So you plan on taking an official visit to Tennessee on June 11th. Is that cap or no cap?
That's what I want to hear. I want to hear Hubbs talk about capping. Yes. It's time to evolve, guys. It's time to evolve. And Brent Hubbs needs to evolve.
He said bet.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you that you know what bet means.
There it is.
But trust me, Brent has no clue what bet means.
It's time to evolve. You guys really want to create some distance with the competition? I need Brent Hubbs and you, Austin Price, to start speaking the lingo. Speaking the lingo of these recruits. No capping. Capping. That's all I know.
I did appreciate Austin in his video with Dallin Hayden throwing in the graphics that Tennessee gave to Dallin Hayden to tweet out with Pooh Shiesty and Lil Baby. I'm sure Austin was just over the moon about those graphics.
Pooh Shiesty from Memphis, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, I know that because Dallin told me that.
Pooh Shiesty, also an interesting rap name. Don't know that I would go with Pooh Shiesty. I don't know that I would go with Pooh in my name.
I know one thing. You better be quiet.
What about Winnie?
Winnie, don't know that I'd go about Winnie either.
I'm talking about Winnie the Pooh. Come on, dude. Come on.
I think my rapper name would be something along the lines that associates myself with Joe Milton.
No, it should be what Austin just called Raw Lewis. It should be called Lil White Rocket. That'd be a good one.
I think you're funny.
Lil White Rocket. That should be your name, Ben.
I'm done for the day.
All right, AP. Thanks for your time, man. Oh, wait. Give us a preview of what's going on in VolQuest since Ben over here acting like it's a secret. What's going on, man?
We'll just continue our state tour coverage. We have a great podcast up this morning. One of my favorite ones we've ever done. We kind of just, shot from the hip and told a bunch of old stories where we did commitment interviews and all this stuff. I mean, it was a lot of fun just to kind of rehash old stories. So check that out. That's a good one. That's up on our YouTube account, or you can listen to it a myriad of different ways, SoundCloud, whatever. That's a good one. And like I said, we'll continue our state tour as we wrap around the state with more and more interviews. I think later today we'll have something on Elijah Herring, the Tennessee commitment, who is at Riverdale.
I like it, Austin. Hey, you the man, Austin, man. Thanks so much for your time this morning, man. We are fortunate.
I try, buddy.
Thank you, man. Take it easy.
All right. You too. See you.